Hey, it's Soul, and this is Warcraft Weekly, coming at you from behind the water dispenser in the cafe to find out where the water is coming from. Yeah, you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catch me where I'm live. Gamers were a mix of anger and confusion over the massive update to Transmog coming in midnight. But before we distract ourselves with WoW token conspiracy theories, we're going to dive deeper into the update and how it works, because once you get the hang of it, you might find it to be very, very cool. I did some early reactions just the other day when the build just went live. Like, I essentially dropped everything I was doing to check this out and to share it. And you should know by now, this is a very important subject for me. Never mind the damage meters finally working or whatever updates came to the add-on API. In fact, never mind professions or even housing, at least for a day or two. So here's the menu, which should go live with the midnight pre-patch. On the left-hand side are a series of outfits to set up. You start with 2, and then you can buy more with gold all the way up to 20. New information we learned since the build release: unlock slots are shared across the warband. It gets pretty expensive, so while the total price tag is an attention grabber, it's up to you how many slots you will actually use. Anyway, back to this. It's here where we configure our transmog, and this process starts off kind of familiar. The top tab shows us individual items. Sets will show the designated armor sets assigned from Blizzard, whether they're completed or not. Clicking on these sets, for example, will queue up the appearances you earned onto each slot. The custom set tab here is where you can create your own templates, and it works the same way as we set up outfits now in the live game. Those of you who already set up a whole bunch of outfits in the past, this is where all of these are being imported to. After setting up an appearance to your liking, you can go to custom sets and create a new custom set, and it'll set here as a template. There's no cost, as always, at least until you want to apply these custom sets into an outfit. Switching is simple. You just assign an outfit to a hotkey on your bar. I think this part is unfinished though, because this is the only way to manually switch outfits outside of opening up the transmog menu and switching from there. I presume the appearance menu will also update to give me these options, at least I hope. We'll look at situations a bit later, but let's go back to the Items tab because there's some new functionality. Many of us, myself included, made some assumptions about what these outfits on the left mean. Now, I had the impression I'd be setting up complete outfits in like slot 1 and 2 and 3 and so on, and that could be a very common practice. Like if I have a few favorite outfits totally unique from each other, I can set these up and I'd be able to swap between these outfits on the field without any additional cost, no NPC needed, and even if I get some replacement gear, it's not going to change my appearance. It's not going to make me look all funny until the next time I visit a transmog vendor. Personally, I also had some goofy ideas like, okay, maybe outfit 1 could be me in like some armor sets, outfit 2 is the same outfit but with a few changes as if I'm dressed down. Apparently Blizzard already thought of that with these new features and went above and beyond. On the right hand side we see the 2 new options, ignore slot and show equipped gear, and these open up new possibilities. So let's make an example. Here I have 2 outfits set up. This here is the first one. We're just going to call it the default outfit. I'm now going to make a swimming outfit. It's very simple. For the sake of this demonstration, I set most transmog slots to invisible, and making something invisible doesn't cost anything to set up. I also set my weapon and offhand to ignore slot by selecting my weapon and offhand, and instead of choosing an appearance below, I select the ignore slot option. This outfit, by the way, costs 0 gold to set up. It's more like this logic command I'm creating rather than an outfit. So with this outfit ready, here's what happens. When I change from my default look into my swimming outfit, everything but my weapon changes into this invisible state. So it doesn't matter what outfit I had on before this. If I happen to be wearing different weapons at the time I activate this outfit, it'll ignore those slots and I'll still be showing these weapons I previously had. The ignore slot function is very versatile and has all these possibilities, whereas before I would have to create an entire set based on like me being half naked with this set of weapons or that set or another set. With outfits, I can create this sort of logic of only changing what I tell it to change. I'm not just saving a lot of gold by having these semi-permanent outfits, but with the right tweaks, even the setup of these can be very cheap. So here's another example. I have an outfit for when I'm at my house, but all it is really is the outfit making my helmet, my chest, and my shoulders invisible, and I throw on a specific shirt. The idea here, it's supposed to give off that kind of roleplay feel of dressing down from my current outfit, as opposed to being forced to make like a full body housewear or something. And when setting this up, I only really paid for applying the shirt to the outfit. Everything else is being ignored or made invisible. So maybe you like swapping between a few favorite weapons regardless of the transmog you're wearing. By creating outfits that are just your armor and outfits that are just your weapons, you can be a bit more dynamic in how you mix and match. The show equipped gear option is a bit easier to explain. It simply removes all transmog rules and reveals what you're actually wearing. There's a great example use for this option, and it's in case I want to try out that new weapon I got from leveling or the Great Vault or whatever. This is a try my weapon out kind of outfit that's set to both ignore all armor slots and set the weapon slots to show my currently equipped weapon. So I can wear whatever outfit I want and then activate this weapon outfit to show off the gear I currently have equipped. These are some new and very powerful options, and it is going to take some getting used to. What I really like about this is I can make smaller investments into how I tweak my outfits. Instead of applying up to like 14 different changes per outfit like in the old system, I can modify only a fraction of that if I only intend to do like a minor wardrobe change. My appearance doesn't have to change when I pick up new gear unless I want it to change, and I can set that up too without having to pay any gold beyond the usual setup. I'm not trying to cancel out concerns over the cost of transmog overall, but I want to put the whole story out there because the one being told in comments and social media is a little bit too simple. These options become even more powerful with situations. These let you set up conditions that, when met, will activate an outfit. This will probably feel most effective when changing almost an entire outfit, like you enter a dungeon and then you wear this dungeon set, or you switch between holy and discipline specializations and you have a totally different vibe around you, but I'll demonstrate a few examples. Select an outfit you want to apply a situation to. I'm going to stick to familiar examples, so I'm going to choose the swimming outfit and then go to situations here on the right. Down here, I'm going to set the movement option to just swimming, which means this outfit can activate anywhere, no matter my specialization or gear worn, but only under the condition that I'm swimming. And to demonstrate, I'll just jump into the water and sure enough, it happens. Now what happens when I get out of the water? If no other situations are set up, I'm gonna stay naked forever. So in this case, I'm gonna assign my default outfit to a situation and turn everything on except for swimming. So now I have two outfits with very distinct activation continues. I'm either swimming or I'm not, and I have a single outfit to suit either situation. I also mentioned my house outfit, so let's set this up too. Here's the condition I set up with the house outfit set to house, and the default set is still left alone because this is kind of a fallback condition when no other situations apply. So now whenever I enter the house, I remove some of my existing armor, and then I revert back to that default outfit when I leave. Now if I happen to have another set that was set specifically for a raid, and I was at the house and I was summoned directly into the raid, then I would automatically change into my raid set right away. But hypothetically, if I teleported directly back to my house again, I would still be wearing the raid outfit, but the logic from my house outfit would strip a few of these pieces down. I admit it's not very easy to explain all this with words, but in practice, it's very, very cool once you have it all set up. There are a lot of other conditions. Some are simple, like activating a specialization which changes your transmog to suit that. Form changes are also supported too. So it's kind of funny that if you want to set up a Drakthir specific outfit, you only need to set up a few actual pieces, while the visage form will need more of the usual investments. And at any time, you can freeze your outfit to temporarily disable situations. You just need to right-click on the outfit you want to freeze. Now again, a reminder that I hope there are other UI improvements to make this easier. Situations can also get complicated real fast. Maybe you're fine with having a specific situation where you're in a battleground and you're on your mount and you have a certain spec and your equipment loadout is set to a certain thing, and then it'll activate some very special appearance or something. Maybe you're okay with several outfits that you randomly change into whenever you leave and enter town. So I recommend starting off slow when entering this feature and then build on it if you get interested in a certain setup or situation. The feature seems pretty far along, but it just needs a little polish. For example, I mentioned that to manually change outfits, I have to open the Transmog menu to take the outfits that I set up and then drag them to my hotbar if I wanted to drag them to my hotbar, that is. I didn't notice any hotkeys to activate outfit number something. I didn't see a pull down in the spellbook, so those would be useful. When this feature comes out, it's going to be very well received for going well beyond expectations. So it's both a terrible and a great thing that it only took one weird trick to spoil the excitement. it's making Transmog feel really expensive. And despite my demonstrations and understanding of how this will work in practice, it still is, but it's also the only thing that really needs fixing. Gamers, including myself, were pretty shocked to see just how much gold it's going to take to unlock all the available outfit slots. Now, the first 2 come free. The next 4 unlocks cost about 6,600 gold. The 7th slot costs 10,000 gold, almost double what we paid for the first 6 put together. And it gets higher and higher, totaling up to 800,000 gold to unlock all of these slots for your entire warband. Now, that's still a lot of gold for just Transmog slots, right? Like, at least the bank and the warbank slots, like those straight up increased our storage. But I won't be talking too much about these unlocks. Like, these are choices as part of a new feature. Outfits and situations. You don't need these in order to just change your transmog the way you normally do. You definitely don't need these if you happen to have a favorite appearance and you never ever want to change it. So like, you're good to go. Like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. But it's the cost of transmog itself that has gone way up considerably in Midnight, and that's got players really concerned. Wowhead reported the cost of transmog for a level 90 character is a little bit under 6,000 gold to transmog every slot. Even at level 80, it's going up to 4,000 gold. It's a huge increase from what we have today. What they didn't tell you is that the transmog cost on a low-level character is the same cost as a level 80 character. So here's what's happening. The cost of transmog for a level 1 character, a level 80 character, and a level 81 character, all of who have different item level gear, it's the same, which tells me the cost of transmog doesn't appear to be tied to item level anymore, or at least that's part of the bug that's going on right now. Something causes the cost to go up between level 80 and level 90, but I don't have enough information to take that any further. What I hope this means, though, is that the cost of transmog for low-level characters will go down considerably because, again, I think there's some sort of bug going on. It'd be pretty messed up for a brand new player of WoW to come in, and in all the hubbub of figuring out what to do and how to play, at some point they're directed to like the trading post, and they pick up some tender, and they get a cool new appearance in the trading post, only to learn that it costs over $1,000 to change the appearance of their weapon, and they only have like 30 gold to their name. The cost of changing up every slot is super high, way higher than it is now, with the plus side being if you keep this set and you're determined to keep that forever, you're never going to have to pay for that certain outfit ever again. And that's a real gold saver right there, we have to admit. Also, in my earlier examples, I made points to talk about different ways to make outfits, small tweaks for your weapons, and temporarily hiding armor in more casual settings, that sort of thing, because that also saves a ton of gold while allowing some additional roleplay with the touch of a button, or hands-free if situations are used. The discussion of transmog costs can get a little murky because we're all a little bit different. Someone might just have the one set and they'll be extremely happy knowing they never have to worry about new gear messing with their current look. Someone who sports a lot of different set outfits for whatever reason, they're going to feel the sting of buying up all these slots and then setting up multiple full sets, and hopefully their tweaks and modifications will be limited over a longer period of time. It's hard to measure. There is one audience who suffers the most from these upcoming changes, even if they fix the stuff that's going on with low-level characters. I'm talking about the group of people who casually transmog. And by casual, I mean they just want to change their appearance at a whim, who for now can't afford to do that. These folks, they just change their look into something totally different because it's Tuesday, because they're just in a mood, because they finally got that one super rare legacy weapon and they want to mess with that. Outfits actually don't help in this case because you can't equip purely cosmetic pieces we get from, like, say, the trading post, and it'd be a bad idea to wear an old legacy weapon into your raid. There's no data that I can BS in favor of someone like me who wants to press the random transmog button several times a day, but there are add-ons that exist, so that tells you something. The concept shot UI of the new transmog menu Blizzard released, it also has this button that looks remarkably like a dice to indicate a random roll, so at least someone inside Blizzard had that on their mind at one point. Like I said, there's no data out there saying the number of people who change transmog on a whim, but you can bet even fewer people will do that under these current prices. Left unchanged, transmog is going to lean harder into feeling like a meaningful choice, which is not a good thing. That's not how transmog ought to feel, in my opinion. Also, and again, this is my personal opinion, I believe in friction in gaming. The cost to unlock these outfit slots, they can get really expensive, but today at least I have no idea how many slots I actually want to use. I don't mind paying a cost to magically transform my gear and not have to worry about it changing ever again as soon as I get a new drop. But part of my behavior in this game is to also enjoy all the different appearances I've been collecting over the past 20 years because there is a ton of them and we get more of it like all the time. A while back, before we learned about all these Transmog updates, I pointed out how expensive Transmog was becoming when it just broke 1,000 gold for a full body setup. And I feel the same today. In today's WoW, Transmog appearances, they almost rain from the sky. Like we get free stuff every month from the trading post just for doing our day-to-day. We're in the middle of the Legion remix, collecting tons of cosmetics, including dozens of ensembles for our warband to enjoy. Every month, every patch and season and Twitch drop and holiday update and entry to the cash shop, we're buried in these little options, sometimes available with only the most minimum of participation. We've come a long way from the days of holding on to our epic gear in our inventories so we can equip it while in town to show off. The current prices are, they're damn near buggy, as I pointed out with low-level characters, but they're really, really high. I think the best place to land here is a point where we can have fun still, choosing appearances while having an understanding that gold sinks like Transmog, they help to keep player markets from being overinflated. So I do have a few ideas to share to help strike that balance. The first being to lower the cost, duh. My hopes are that we land somewhere between the current pricing and free. It doesn't necessarily mean slashing prices is the only option, but it's certainly an easy place to look. Here's something that I think would be helpful. Let's say we're setting up an outfit for the very first time. How about making the first time setup of that slot, for that outfit, how about we make it free? It would do two things, I think. One, it would take away that upfront price tag of just setting up outfits for the first time because, like I said, that's pretty damn scary. It would also be great for low-level characters who want to maintain a decent look as they're blasting through. Second, it would set off something in gamers' heads like, okay, I better sit down and choose my favorite sets for these outfits so I make like a good first investment. And then down the road, if they make small adjustments, they'll get eased into that cost. But if they want to totally redo the outfits, by that point, they'll hopefully better understand the consequences of making a bigger change or might consider purchasing another slot altogether. Last thought that came to mind, and this is kind of silly, but what if gamers could give themselves or assign themselves a laundry day? So we talk to like a laundry NPC person. They can be in the capital city, they can be in the neighborhood or our house or wherever. And we can tell them when we want our laundry day to be. And then that's it. Although, okay, what really happens on laundry day? Just Transmog is cheaper across the warband during that day, once a week or something like that. And that's it. So why is it called laundry day? I don't know, but I think it's just kind of a fun thing to plan for ourselves. Like, okay, let's sit down and redo our wardrobe today or something. And is that the show? I think Transmog took up the entire show. Damn. I'm going to quick fire some of the other news bits with some quick takes though. The Legion Remix entered Phase 4 this week, opening up the entire expansion. Folks rolled over the dungeon and raid pretty much instantly, which is a preview of if they ever get around to a Legion Classic expansion. As of this recording, BlizzCon tickets are still on sale, which can mean any number of things, but the fact that they're not sold out means we can make up any old narrative we want. Hopefully it means it won't be so crowded at the Chicken and Waffles place. Over on the PTR, it appears that Battle for Azeroth items will no longer require service medals to purchase, which was a big pain point during testing. Alliance versions of their decor have yet to show up on their vendor, which tells me the Horde won the war. Sorry, but you can't win them all. DPS meters are now testable in the beta, which sounds like a very frightening thing to say in the 21st year of an MMO. Power users, of course, are never going to be satisfied, but I actually wonder about folks who otherwise don't use meters at all. Like, they don't have to turn them on, but the option will be there now. It makes me wonder how that'll affect player behavior. It might be kind of endearing seeing someone reading meters back to me, confident of their performance before I remind them how many kicks they missed. And now that's the show. And next week is going to be a bit awkward with the Thanksgiving holiday weekend just around the corner. Let's be on the lookout for a trading post preview, and I'll help you prepare for 11.2.7 and player housing on the 2nd, at least in my way. Also be doing some more house tours if I can squeeze those in, and going forward, I want to release those on a set schedule. I want to thank everyone who's been watching me do them because I do them live, and I've been refining the format and style bit by bit. Let's also thank our beloved patrons, including newcomer Patrick. Thank you so much. We always appreciate it. And I can't forget about you, viewer. You made it to the end. You fed the algorithm. Now all you gotta do is like this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.